Well, and I talk about this because this is the end of the year, and at the end of every year, people will just like look back and see where they went wrong. Did they learn anything? Did they earn anything? And then, so I'm also sort of looking back, and I was just sitting and thinking, where do I get my inspiration from? What inspires me? I don't know how, but somehow I got interested in first in Urdu literature, and then Punjabi literature, then Bengali literature, and ultimately to the Persian literature. Of course, I also read English literature, but I started with Urdu literature, moved on to Punjabi, and then moved on to Bengali, and then Punjabi, and then Persian. And while reading Persian literature, I came across these Sufi tales, and I read several books on them, and I still do. Whenever I need inspiration, I have some books with me, and one of the books I really like very much is called The Wisdom of the Idiots. It's written by a Sufi scholar, Idris Shah, and there are other books too. And this is a story that I read in a Persian collection of Sufi stories. So I want to share this story with you. This is about a man who was very pious. He used to pray all the time. He used to fast, keep his fast and everything. And he had only one desire. He said, I just want to see God, come face to face with God. And that is why what we call in Urdu and Persian, didar ho jaye Allah mein. So he always used to pray for this didar, for this face to face with God. So one day he had a dream, and in that dream he was told that go to the market of the coppersmith. This thing is happening in a city in Iran, and the Iranian cities, particularly I think Isfahan, were known for the craftsmanship of their coppersmiths. They still are, and they make very beautiful copper utensils. And so so this man gets up early in the morning, even before the market opens, and goes to the market and stands outside the door. In the old days, they used to have these sort of markets. They used to have a wall around the market, and the wall and the doors open at a certain time and close at a certain time. So he was standing before the door, and then there was a woman who came even before him, and she was already standing in front of the door. So he went and stood behind her, and then some other people came behind them, and finally the door opened. He went there, but before he could ask anyone, this woman rushed to the first shopkeeper and said, look, I want to sell this thing. That she had a jar or something with her, and they said, okay, so how much are you asking for this? And she said, well, I need, it was in dinar, but just for people to understand, I would use the term dollar. So she says, okay, $10. And the shopkeeper looks at the thing and says, it was what they in the Persian, and I think also in English, they call it samovar, actually, not a jar. So looks at the samovar and says that, okay, I will give you $5 for it. She said, no, $5 will not do. I really need $10. He said, no, I can't give you $10. So she went to the next shopkeeper. The next shopkeeper says, okay, if you need money, it's not worth more than $5, but I can give you $6. And she went to to another shopkeeper, and he said $7. So it went on, and because it was interesting, so this man also kept following her. And finally, all the shopkeepers said, okay, you are not satisfied with the prices that we are offering, so why don't you go to this man? And they show him the shop. They said, go to him. He's the senior most and the most experienced, and also considered very wise. So if you go to him, he will give you a good price, because he does not cheat people. So she goes to him, and she showed him whatever she had with him, and he looks at him, at the object, and says that, okay, well, I will give you $30 for it. She said, $30? Are you out of your mind? it is not worth $30. It's perhaps not even worth $10, but I am asking for $10 because I need $10. I said, what do you, and he said, well, you may need $10, but I'll offer you $30. She said, don't make fun of me. He said, no, I'm not making fun of you. I'm serious. She said, if you are serious, then of course, I will sell it for $30. Why not? Because I'm making a profit here. But let me warn you that it is not worth $30 at all, and I don't want to cheat you. He said, fair. Don't worry. You warn me. I'll give you $30. So he gives her $30, and the woman goes away very happy, very pleased with herself, and thanking him, the shopkeeper. And then this man who was told that he will see the way to God at this shop, he was very surprised, and he went to the shopkeeper and said, look, everybody told me that you are the senior most, you're the most experienced, you're the best shopkeeper here, and this is you bought something for $30 which is not even worth $10. So you don't look wise to me, you look foolish to me. And I was also told that I will see the way to God at your shop. So I don't see any door that leads me to God from this shop. And the man said, I don't know, I never claimed that I'm a godly person or I'm a pious person. I'm a shopkeeper. This is a shop and we do business here, and we'll do all sorts of things to make a good deal. So no. But I did buy this, you're right, I did buy this thing for much more than what it was worth. But there's a reason behind it. He said, what's the reason? He said, I know this woman, she lives in our neighborhood, and I also know why she's selling it. And he said, why is she selling it? He said, because her son is very sick, and the doctor has asked for certain amount of money to treat him, to ask for $10 to treat him immediately, but the entire treatment will cost her much more than that. So I know that the doctor, in those days the doctors were called Hakims, they still do in Pakistan, and the doctor told me that the whole treatment will cost about $50, but I can come down a little if she arranges some more money. So I decided that I'll pay her $30, and that is how I hope the doctor will also bring down will cooperate a little, and we'll be able to help her in getting this treatment. And so the man was surprised. Said, so you knew the whole thing? I said, yes. And you knew that it was not worth $30? Of course. He said, I am indeed the most experienced shopkeeper. So I know what is the worth of a thing that is being sold to me, or that I am selling to anyone. So he said, okay. And he paused and he looked at the man and he said, please accept me as your apprentice. He said, why? You're not a coppersmith. He said, no, I'm not a coppersmith, but I want to reach God. And it is right that the way to God goes through your door. So please accept me as an apprentice. So that is how, these are the stories that actually inspired me.